WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have GlenAllachie Speyside single malt Scotch whiskey Marsala Wood Finish, exclusively bottled for Kirsch import here in Germany. Aged 12 years old, 48% non-chilled filtered, no added coloring. About 46 euros, and Whiskybase number 181910. So I love the cask types. Oak barrel. Okay, American oak barrel, which means of course bourbon. And then it had a finish in Marsala wine casks. So what are Marsala wine casks? A Marsala is actually a wine, a fortified wine from Sicily in Italy. And it actually is a DOC, a Denominazione di Original Controllerte. My Italian is so terrible. You should stone me now. And it actually received this title as a protected type of wine in 1969. So we have different types, which I think was very, very interesting. We have the Fino, which is at least a Fine, which is at least 1 year old. We have the Superior, which is at least 2 years old. We have the Superior Reserva, which is at least 4 years old. We have the Vergina or Soleras, which is at least 5 years old. And then we have actually this Soleras Reserva, which is at least 10 years old. So what type of Marsala was used here? We don't know. What did Billy Walker buy? Who knows? It's often used also in Italian restaurants in the US for cooking. And it is a very, very good type of sweet wine, which is sometimes used to produce Italian desserts. Tiramisu, for example. All right, so that's about it, what I can say here. This is a part of their new Wood Finish series. It's a German exclusive, and it should have some tropical fruits and so on in it. What am I going to share and what I'm going to compare it to? I'm going to compare it to the GlenAllachie 18-year-old from 2019. My video of this came out a few weeks ago, and what is very, very interesting for me is Billy Walker barely had any time to put his trademark stamp on this whiskey. So this is basically a GlenAllachie as the distillery made it, not as Billy Walker wanted it. And so I'm going to see if the comparing this whiskey here to that whiskey might actually make any sense. So first of all, we do notice that both of these boxes are very brown. So luckily there's the 18 here and the 12 here, so we can tell the difference. Both are 48%, both are non-chilled filtered, both are natural color. This runs around, let's say about 100 euros, and this runs around about 84 euros. So it's only 12 years old, and this is the 18-year-old. So, yeah. Let's try them. All right, color. I hardly see any difference in these two. The 18 might have a tiny, tiny little bit of a darker color. Now, Marsala is a fortified red wine. Where is the red? It was supposed to have had a 18-year-old finish in Marsala casks. I have no idea if they were first fill Marsala casks or second fill, who knows? But yeah. And I have no idea how many bottles actually made it to Germany. I don't know if we're talking about 300 or 3,000 or 30,000. I'm sorry. All I do know is it's been in the markets now in Germany since about May. And almost every online store that the Kirsch as an importer supplies still has it on stock or in stock. And so, yeah. That's also one thing that can be noticed here on Whiskybase. All the shops that have it, and if it was a hyped bottle, it would have been sold out within hours, days, and maybe even weeks. And months later, it's still there, so you know, basically your friends have not been suggesting and recommending, go buy it, it's very delicious. So let's see what my nose says. Okay, I get red sour grapes, red sour cherries that are not ripe. I get a little bit of a woody sawdust moment. and I get some red currants. It's not really doing it for me. I like, and also cranberries, exactly. So the currants go for the red currants and the red cranberries together. Very, very close, but different. But more of a currant. I love drinking cranberry juice. And cranberry juice is very tart. And it has a lot of sugar and a lot of water in it. And it's never pure. It's never one. You never, at least I've never found any 100% cranberry juice, at least not over here. It's always very, very diluted down. And there's always a little bit, at least over here in Germany, a little bit of sugar added, if not a lot. And so this tartness is not something I dislike, but I'm not a big fan of tart in my whiskey. The 18-year-old, it's more of a little bit of a brown sugar type of moment with a lot of burnt wood, barrel char. Let's just call it barrel char instead of burnt wood. Okay. If I had to choose between the two of those, I would go for the 18-year-old on the nose. And I'm not a big fan of the 18-year-old, as I think you remember my video about this. All right, let's try this. Cheers. 84%, 48. German numbers change. We have 48%, 48%, 46. 48, 46. Non-chilled filtered, non-chilled filtered. No color added, no color added. And here we have the Marsala Wood Finish. German exclusive. Astringency first. Tart. Sour. Cherry. And then barrel char. All three of those experiences are not something I love in my whiskey. Now, if you put a little bit of water in it, it is 48%, so let's try to dilute it down to maybe 43. There is, instead of a barrel char at the end, it turns a little bit into a nougat type of creamy chocolate moment. So let's try it with a little bit of water. It gets a tiny little bit better with water, but on the nose there's more tartness and a little more of a, it's sour. The astringency is still there. It wants to suck all the saliva out of my cheeks. And towards the end, you get that sour cherry turns into a normal type of cherry almost, with a little bit of a chocolatey nougat. And I'm being very, very polite to this whiskey. It's a C- in my book. It's a D+ for value for money. I'm not willing to pay 64 euros 90, which was the going price. Originally, people are actually putting on sale now for 58, 55 euros. I see it because it's just dead weight in the shelves. No one's buying it. And I understand, unfortunately, why. Just not my my flavor profile that I want. Sorry, GlenAllachie, and sorry, Kirsch, you just did not hit my wheelhouse with this bottle, and I think you missed the wheelhouse of very many people in Germany at the moment. Either you want something dark, or you want something fruity and sweet, or you want something as a bargain, and this is neither. None of the above. A lot of bitter wood. Yeah, that finish really does it for me, or doesn't do it for me. It just kills this whiskey. Now, one little thought. As far as I know, please correct me if I'm wrong, Billy Walker does not sell casks and does not want to sell casks to independent bottlers. So since 2017, there has basically been no more barrels been sold off to brokers and independent bottlers from GlenAllachie, which is fine. So, which basically puts a different problem in front of Billy Walker. You have barrels that have been used 2 or 3 times, distillery wood, and they have a bitterness to them. There's just tannins left in there. There's not a lot of good flavors left in those casks. Now, what do? You have to actually finish these whiskeys and mask that bad flavor with your good new oak and your new finishing barrels and so on. But every once in a while, I'm sure there's a few barrels that even Billy Walker's going to go, nah, that's not worth my trouble, not worth my time. What does he do with those? Does he still sell them? I do know that in German I can go to the tax authorities and I can actually, in front of the eyes of the tax authorities, I can destroy these casks. Oh yeah, by the way, Blattnoch, when I interviewed them, they talked about, or a different interview, they talked about actually, they had some casks that were so terrible that they took them out of their warehouse and put them aside, waited for the tax authorities to come, destroyed the whiskey in those barrels and got their taxes back from it. So I guess that's something Billy Walker could do, but that's pennies on the dollars that you invested in that. But I guess that's also an idea. I would sell them off to some type of independent broker and say, here, try your luck with it. I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. So, question of the day. What is your favorite Marsala cask finish whiskey? Is it something from Ireland? Is it something from Scotland? Do you know any place else that is doing it? I've had a few different combinations. There was a nice German distiller that did the Italian connection, which was from the north, Amarone, and from the south, Marsala, and used those two casks, combined them, vatted them together, and gave out a very decent whiskey. I'm not a great fan of this, as I mentioned, a C- and C- and D+ for value for money. All the best. Thank you very much. A German exclusive. You won't find it probably outside of Europe, and even if it's made its across the borders in Holland or Netherlands or Denmark or Poland or the Czech Republic or Swiss or Austria or maybe even France and so on, Belgium, all these countries have borders with Germany, by the way. It's probably not going to make its way over to UK or US or South Africa or even Australia. So rare and exotic. Thank you very much. Like, subscribe, tell others, and thank you very much for your time and for your interest. Bye-bye.